everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Camp Confidence Radio.
Welcome back, mga madam. This is gonna be
Hey.
another fun episode because today we're talking finance. So
Ooh.
we have two new guests today and we'll introduce them to you guys. I'm sure you're familiar with them already, so we'll have them introduce themselves. But just a quick intro bago sila magpakilala. How did we meet them, Madam Rizza?
Ako si Madam Juan. Ay, una ko siyang nakita on TikTok.
Pwede mo nang bigyan
sige,
ng
sabihin ko na
pangalan.
ba? Okay. So, na-meet ko si Yani or Coach Yani as you know her on TikTok. Sa TikTok ko talaga siya na nakita. So, nag-spike yung interest ko nung parang she was talking about her 500 peso dress ba yun? Napupunta siya ng awarding, tapos parang sabi ko, oh, I like this girl. Tapos, finollow ko na siya, and then I realized na magkakilala pala sila ni Ayn. Ayun, and then Oo, yun. Tapos, doon na nag-start ang aking pag-follow at pag-admire kay Yani. Ang bata-bata pa niya, but she knows her stuff so much. Parang I wish I had that wisdom way back. Akala mo naman kung maka-way back. Ayun. So, ganun ko na-meet si Yani. How about you, Madam Ayn?
Si Yani, I knew of her from college actually. So both of these women, si Sarah, I met
Yes, si
in
Sarah.
high school.
Okay.
I met in high school, actually grade school. Parang feeling ko grade school pa lang.
I think grade school, yeah. Grade
Yeah.
school pa lang, magkakilala na tayo.
Oo, grade school pa lang magkakilala na kami. And then, eventually, we reconnected through Yish, our manager, kasi si Sarah yung nagpakilala sa akin. And then, si Yani naman, college ko naman siya kilala. Friend of a friend. And then, nag-reconnect kami ngayong adulthood through sa maraming ganaps. Because our
Yeah.
guests today are both raketeras.
Yes.
They have their own thing. They have a lot of stuff going on in their lives. So, we want to know more about that. So, ayun,
Yes.
without further ado, dali na natin sila dito. So, hello, Sarah and Yani.
Hello.
Hi! Hello!
Hello,
I'm so
madams.
confused with my...
With the hand gestures.
Ay, nakalimutan ko pala si Sarah. I saw her on Instagram. She's my girl crush. Aaminin ko dito sa Camp Confidence Radio. She's my girl crush kasi grabe, ang ganda-ganda niya. Tapos, I love how she's so, ano mo yun, yung fitness journey niya, sobrang nai-inspire talaga ako sa kanya. And she's so real. Tapos yun, pina-follow ko na talaga siya matagal na. Tapos yun, I just got so kilig. Tapos parang, nung sabi ni Ayina, we are with Sarah Carlos, dun sa talent management nga with Madam Yish. Tapos parang sabi ko, oh my gosh, talaga. Ayun. Girl crush confession for today's episode.
Yeah. Did you ever see her on TV?
Yes, I did. So parang,
Yeah.
cute.
That's not me. Who's that? That's Patricia.
That's Patricia. Okay, but anyway, let's have them introduce themselves kasi we want you guys to introduce yourselves sa aming audience, listenership, madamhood. And if you were to introduce yourself to a group of strangers, how would you do it? So maybe you can start with Sarah first.
Yani muna.
To a group of strangers talaga.
Oo.
Ayan. Hi, my name is Yani. You can call me Yani Ganda for short. Wow! I'm a financial coach and I help people with their finances and investments. That's it. That's how I introduce myself.
Yes, Coach Yani, everyone.
Yeah.
And Sarah, ikaw na, your turn.
Hi, my name is Sarah. My name is Sarah Carlos and I work in marketing. I don't tell people what I do for a living, really. Like, I just say, hi, I'm Sarah. I play video games and stuff.
Bida-bida pala pag nagpakilala, no? Hi, I'm Yani.
Oo.
I'm ganito.
Pero, I
Tumbling.
mean, one check naman on social media, you'll see what they do already. So
Yep.
you guys can do all that stalking if you want or lurking if you want. But anyway, today we want to talk about your finance
Oo nga.
journeys. Kasi you guys are hosts of Quarter Life Bliss, tama ba?
Yes.
Mamaya
Quarter
meron
Life Bliss
akong...
podcast.
Yes, baka may na-miss ako na word or
Quarter
something.
Life Bliss podcast. Ano to, guide siya, no, for us young women, young people. Oh wow. Pero ano nga,
In the earlier seasons, it was more of a self-help podcast, and it was
Yeah.
only just a while ago that Coach Yani decided to shift towards making it a more finance centric podcast.
Yeah,
Yes.
initially it was to help people who are going through their quarter life crisis. No, so I create kasi I was also in my quarter life before. Before talaga, tagal na. Last year. So sabi ko, bakit ganon? Help ko na nga lang yung mga tao to go through their quarter life crisis journey. So I created the podcast to help talaga yung mga 20-somethings. And now we're shifting to finance. Literally, everything finance na lang because yung tagline nga namin, no, find your bliss and money will follow. Kasi if you're happy, diba, your money will just come in easily in your life.
totoo. So sige, pag-usapan naman natin ang inyong finance journey. As Coach Yani and Sarah, how did you start your finance journey?
Coach Yani, you first.
Okay. Ako na lang. Bata pa lang ako. I always share this story. Bata pa lang ako. Hindi naman kasi kami well off. I would say middle class, lower middle class kami growing up. My mom is a single mom and four kaming magkakapatid. So, growing up, it was really hard for us financially, especially financially. So, I learned in my early years, parang grade school pa lang, how to start budgeting na. Kasi ito lang yung kaya ng pera eh. So, ano yung mabibili mong food for that? Ano yung kaya mong mabiling snacks sa sari-sari store with that money? So, bata pa lang ako, medyo exposed na ako sa finances. What I like about my mom talaga, she works in the finance industry as well. And so, bata pa lang kami, in-expose niya na kami to understand na, uy, hindi natin afford to. Uy, ito lang yung budget natin. This is how much our bills are. This is how much your tuition is. Alam mo yun, talagang lahat yun very, as in, inuupuan namin as a family meeting na hindi ko hindi ko afford na mag-private school kayo ngayon. Yung parang ganyan. So, even as young as I was, we were, mga magkakapatid, medyo exposed na talaga kami when it comes to money. So, that's where my finance journey started. And then, come college, okay, so struggling until high school, come college, parang napansin ko lang with our family, medyo mas maluwag na. No, medyo afford na namin kumain sa labas, afford na namin mag-travel abroad, and afford na namin yung tuition sa UST. So I asked my mom, sabi ko sa kanya, bakit parang hindi na nade-delay dati kasi talaga nade-delay yung pangbayad sa school, nade-delay ka mag-exam because hindi mo pa afford, ganyan. Tapos sinabi ng mom ko, kasi may investments ako. So now I'm reaping everything na ininvest ko years ago. So because of that, sabi ko, paano ba investing na yan? Ano ba yung word na yan, diba? Paano ba yan? Turo mo nga para in the future, I could apply the same to my future kids. So, college pa lang, nag-i-invest na ako because sabi ko, ayokong mag-struggle ako when they're in grade school, in their high school, diba? Kasi natutunan ko na nga with my mom. So, yeah, after that, after college, nagliwaliw muna ako with life and did everything na I think I wanted to do initially. And then, I ended up, sabi ko, wait lang, parang dito ko talaga nakikita yung passion ko kasi I'm coming from my experience whenever I speak, whenever I share my story. So, parang ang dali-daling pag-usapan yung pera for me. Where, in fact, in the Philippines, hindi siya norm, diba, pag-usapan yung money. So, sabi ko, I wanna normalize talking about finances in the country. And so, yeah, I studied coaching because na-realize ko, hindi naman pala effective if you're just gonna impose how one should use their money, how one should invest, how one should save, spend, diba? And so, na-realize ko, coaching helps pala because you help the person understand everything about their life. And then, one part of it lang is their money. So, yeah, I took life coaching classes. And then, after that, sabi ko, i-connect ko nga siya with finance. How can I connect it? And so here I am now creating content about finance and being your hey, this is your financial coach on TikTok.
Yes.
Totoo. Can I just say, everything is just so relatable. Na parang ang saya na swerte actually yung mga kabataan ngayon na there are a lot of content available out there for them to consume. Kasi tayo dati, wala tayong ibang
Wala.
guide eh. Wala.
Totoo.
Lahat Google. Kung hindi natin i-google, kung hindi natin itatanong sa mga magulang natin, walang ibang mag-guide sa atin. I love that. Thank
Correct.
you so much,
Wala pang
Yani.
Google dati. DSL pa lang. Tapos yahoo.com.
Oo. Britannica pa.
Oo.
Totoo.
So, nakaka-frustrate kaya nun.
Thanks, Yani. How about you, Sarah? Ichika mo sa amin yan.
Story of how I met Yani ba, or how I got into money?
Yan.
How you got
How
into
you
money?
got into money.
Well, it started when I was basically in high school, going to college. I always realized that I didn't really have enough money, or like nakihigpit sinturon yung dad ko, because actually I remember this specifically when my sister was about to enter college and when I was about to enter high school. My dad lost his job, so my entire high school life I was always nagtitipid. I knew that I couldn't buy certain stuff because I didn't have money, and I always kind of had the centric of the mindset that when I grow up, I'm gonna get a good job, I'm gonna earn a lot of money, I'm gonna take care of myself and buy all the things that I want to buy, because I couldn't buy myself that. My dad, at the point in his life, was earning 6 digits a month, and then um, because of a very sour relationship with a person back then, he lost his job and yada yada yada. Yun, so that's how I got into finance at such a young age, because I knew how I needed to learn how to budget. I would say borderline, I had such an unhealthy relationship with money that I'd feel bad spending $10 or 500 pesos for the Filipino listeners on a t-shirt, even though I needed the t-shirt and stuff like that. When I entered college, I took up accountancy for the sole reason that they said that you would earn a lot of money once you became an accountant. Little did I know that accountants earn a lot of money because they were dirty accountants, not because they were clean accountants. And so on and so forth. Even when I became an actress, I didn't, that one in particular, I didn't become an actress because of the money. I became an actress because I loved acting, because even in high school, I joined, the drama club and all that
Yes.
stuff. But over time, I realized that there was a lot of money. And in fact, there's more money in social media marketing than there is in acting. So it's just really funny right now how I know so much about money, even when it comes to stocks, even when it comes to budgeting, because back then there was a necessity for it. And over time, I would say that I got obsessed with it to the point that my only goal in life was to earn this much amount of money. And it got to a point in that I was earning millions, or I got a lot of money, but I wasn't happy and it didn't make me happy. So that's when I started to be a bit more holistic with my money approach, with taking care of myself, with taking care of my wallet, and with taking care of my mindset when it comes to things that funny, Coach Yadi, we got so much hate for this when I had the mindset that having money is not the end all be all. Like, it's not something that.
You got hate for that?
We got
Oo nga,
bashers.
why?
No, nakat kasi with
You
no
know what?
context.
Coach Yani is kind of like stressing out about this. Ako kasi I'm so used to hate comments, and I was like reading them. They're not even that bad, but basically it's like it's a discussion that try saying that to people who are poor or who are struggling to make ends meet. And it's true. That's true. I see their point, and they really do make a good point. It's so difficult to have that mindset, because I had that mentality before back in high school. Like, I remember being so fudging frustrated that I couldn't even go to Ateneo or like to La Salle, even though I passed. Like, that was like, oh my God, can you imagine if I just had the money, I could have gone to La Salle, but no, I didn't. But still, no regrets. I went to San Beda, met a lot of amazing people there. So yeah. But that's the thing. Like, it made me realize, like, right now, I'm 28 years old for people who don't know, and I realized that money is honestly just a very important instrument. Yeah, it's a tool. It's a very important tool that you need to have in your life, and it's actually a necessity. Duh, it's a necessity that you need to have for you to survive. But it's really not. the, like I said, the end all be all. Because case in point, like what Coach Yani said, why are there billionaires, millionaires who are depressed, right? So that's how I got into money. It really stemmed out of necessity, and then over time I began to understand that it's more of a partner in life that you need to utilize.
Survive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is more of a tool, and I'm glad that you guys have the podcast para, for the younger generation who are very, very confused. Because ako personally, my problem was I couldn't talk to anybody about money. I didn't know where to ask how much ba ang bill sa electricity. I had no idea. No idea how much people earn. Like, what's a good starting salary? Like, how much are you supposed to be earning at 25. Alam mo yun, like, what goal is too much, what goal is too little. Sometimes wala ka talagang idea, if there isn't anybody telling you. And
Yeah. And being like sometimes exposed to a certain industry na lang, like for example, like being in the public spotlight, you of all people should know that you meet so many people who have so many money, and they just like, for them it's nothing. But for me in particular, like, grabe, like I keep going back to the time in high school when I couldn't even buy lunch for myself because I didn't have allowance back then. So it's
yeah.
crazy. It's crazy.
Iba talaga yung concept ng mga tao sa pera depending on what your experience is. But I guess parang lahat naman tayo coming from that place na parang we had to learn. We had to learn how to be smart about our finances. So our next question, just curious, what was your worst financial decision? Because I'm sure you didn't get to where you are now without making mistakes. So, ano yung pinakamalala?
Eto
Ba't ka
na.
natawa, Sarah? Ano to?
Life
Ano yung
tuition
wor-
fees.
ano yung napagdaanan
Tuition
nyo
fees,
na?
tama. Ako na
Oh,
lang muna.
Eto
Okay,
na.
ako. Sige.
Mine is networking. I got into networking once, and I forgot the name, but it's about a traveling agency. Yung ganon yung ano, like it's a Ponzi scheme, obviously, networking. But that was my worst financial decision. Will never do that again. And yeah, it was
How
just
did that go? Like, you invested, tapos you had to get people to invest?
it's basically like a pyramid scheme, because the only people who really benefit are the ones at the top. And for me, that was when I realized, oh my god, I am not a salesperson, or I am not business minded at all. Like, I do not want to be that's why what you guys do, like what Yani does, what Ayin does, what Riza does, like having businesses, it does not entice me at all one bit. I have no interest in being a CEO or anything. I'd rather just be an angel investor and like go work.
Oh, ayan na, investor.
Honestly, it is. But yun nga, it's just kind of funny that that Ponzi scheme thing was the biggest life lesson that I learned, that okay, I'm never gonna do networking again. I don't wanna put someone I care about in a position like that, because I remember it was a relative of mine who put me in that position. And it was 16,000
My
pesos
gosh.
that I lost, but it's 16,000 pesos well
Tuition.
spent. Yeah, it's a 16,000 pesos tuition.
Tuition
Yeah.
para matutunan never to do
Correct.
that again.
Yeah.
Yep. We
Ay,
all have those.
ikaw, Yani.
Ako nakakatawa. Oh my gosh. Napaisip ako dyan sa tanong na yan. Yung sa akin ata is investing in the wrong person.
So
Hindi,
dramatic.
May
I mean,
paganon.
ano lang, parang before, well, number one, after college, medyo shopaholic ako. As in, syempre nag-start ka mag-earn, diba? I'm sure dumaan kayo sa point na you can afford things that you couldn't afford when you were in college. So, I started earning, I kept buying stuff for myself. And I was also in a toxic relationship na, sige, ako magbabayad parate. So, yeah, I learned not to spend.
Sugar mama ka, girl.
Sugar mama ka, girl. So,
Sugar
yan. Oo, ngayon ko lang na-realize, yun ata yung money mistake ko na don't put so much money in love. Wow.
Naka, okay.
Tatawa si
Recorded yan.
Riza. Pili ka nakaka-relate ka ba dyan? girl?
Hindi naman masyado.
Meron ka ba, Madam Riza, na worst financial decision na hindi mo pa na-share sa podcast?
Nako, sobrang dami kong financial mistakes. Pero ayun nga, ako din, I can relate to Yani sa point na medyo nung nagkaroon ako ng income, kahit anong gusto kong bilhin, bibilhin ko. Kahit wala nang matitira sa sweldo ko, ganun. Okay lang na hindi na ako kumain basta meron akong bagong bag. Tapos parang then realized na parang wait lang, am I doing this? As in, I wasn't very
Materialistic
wala
girls.
talaga. Materialistic girl. As in, parang wala kasi
Material
nag-guide
girl.
sa akin. Walang nag-guide sa akin. And like you guys, hindi rin kami well off. Parang yun nga, nalilate din magbayad ng tuition fees yung parents ko. Yung tipong hindi ako makakapag-exam for a day kasi wala pang pangbayad ng tuition fee. Promissory notes lang. Ganon,
Yeah.
ganon. Pero, ang maganda lang din sa parents ko is lagi nilang sinasabi na mag-aral ka kasi mag-e-exam ka. Parang ginawan talaga nila ng paraan. They're very madiskarte. So now,
The real madam.
pero yun nga, so dumaan din ako sa mga phase na materialistic ako. And then I realized, nung nag-business na ako, doon na talaga. As in, doon na nauntog yung mukha ko sa floor. Na, hey, you have to spend your money wisely. Tapos, it also helps na you are with a great partner. So, my husband now, he's very wise with money, he's very, alam mo yun, masinop, ganon. So, siya yung nagsasabi sa akin, ha, bibili ka ng mahal na sapatos na hindi mo naman gagamitin lagi, tapos tatapakan mo lang yung 5,000 peso rubber shoes mo. Tapos parang sabi ko, oo nga, no, does this make me happy? Hindi naman masyado. So, yun, parang doon medyo nag-mellow down yung everything. Tapos when I started employing people, yun na talaga. When I started employing people, sobrang mas vinalue ko na talaga yung pera.
Yeah,
Ayun.
ang dami na nakaasa sa'yo eh.
Ang dami ko
Correct.
nang binubuhay. Charot.
Alam niyo ba yung worst financial decision ko?
Ikaw, oo.
Hindi ako nagbabasa. Hindi ako gumawa ng contract. Yun pala. Because I was a raketera and I had a friend. Parang alam mo yun, you just trust in a friend. Tapos parang ex-deal. Ang alam ko, ex-deal. Yun pala, ex-deal sa services ko. So I ended up parang, it was around 30K. Tapos, sobrang baba ng binigay nila sa akin na rate na I had to pay for it for 6 months. Imagine, 6 months of work to pay 30K na inayos nila yung room ko. Tapos, I was like, oh my gosh, ayoko mag-work for 6 months for as in like, basically, free work for 6
Yeah.
months. Tapos sabi ko,
my gosh.
tapos sumama yung loob ko talaga. To the point na, sabi ko, babayaran ko na lang imbes na I'll work for this. But then, at that time, I was able to pay off like a bit, pero may 21K pa ako na natitira. And at that point, masama na loob ko, I really didn't want to work for them anymore. And I was young. 21K was a lot of money.
Yeah.
Nakakaiyak siya kasi parang, ano ba to? Parang fresh grad ako, kaya nga ako rumaraket because I wanted extra income. Tapos, all of a sudden, bigla akong
May
may
utang ka.
utang.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, that sucks.
I really learned na kailangan ng contracts, na even if you're friends with people, you need to put things in writing para,
Totoo.
lalo na kung ikaw yung dehado. So, ayun, oh my gosh, never again.
Never again. True. So now that we're done with our worst financial mistakes, eto naman. Eto naman, best. Ano ang mga best financial decisions nyo naman?
Na hanggang ngayon, yay, thank you Lord,
Oo,
ginawa ko
na
yun.
parang your future self is thanking you for, ganon.
Ako nag-invest ako maaga in college pa lang. So talagang nakikita ko yung mga investments ko. Alam mo yung papasaya ka kasi shocks yung mga alam ko na kahit may mga maling desisyon ako sa pera before na meron pa rin ako natabi for myself. And ngayon, tuloy-tuloy yun na i-invest ko and tuloy-tuloy ko. Nakikita ko lang yung money. So, happy ako doon. And then ngayon, I'm so proud kasi bumili ako ng first real estate ko. Kami ni Ayn, pareho kami ng mga win. So, ako, yung first real estate ko, biggest financial, purchase ko talaga, biggest investment ko to date. Proud ako doon. Very big win siya talaga sa akin. Kasi, alam mo yun, parang iniisip ko na, ang laki nung binayad ko, malaki pa yung babayaran ko, and this is how many years I'm gonna pay for it. But also, shocks, alam mo yung epiphany minsan na, I'm proud of myself. Kasi dati, hindi ko maisip na makaka-afford ako ng kahit na studio unit ng condo. Alam mo yon. Pero nung, I just made it happen for myself. And that's something that I'm really proud of. Kasi, alam niyo naman ako, very sheltered. Wala naman akong responsibilities. And now I have. Alam mo yung nagbabayad akong asok juice, nagbabayad akong rent. Napaproud ako! Nag-i-issue ako ng check. Oh my
Adulting,
gosh,
oo.
nag-issue ako ng check. So,
Oo, may
nag-issue ako
pagpirma
ng
na.
checks. Oo, sabi ko, shucks, ang proud ko lang sa sarili ko doon. And siguro, yung isa pa talaga is yung natuto ako talaga mag-budget ng pera ko na, dati kasi, kung lumalaki income ko, nilalakihan ko din lifestyle ko, ganon. So, na-realize ko na, hindi naman pala kailangan. So, proud ako na kahit tumataas yung income ko, yung lifestyle ko stays the same. Stays the same. Therefore, I was able to invest in a property, diba? And travel, and finally travel after saving up for my fun allowance in the States. Nagawa ko ulit siya. So, yun, yung mga financial wins ko talaga, especially most recently.
Congrats, Yani, on the property. Good job.
Thank you.
And
Invite ko
congrats
kayo.
on the adulting. Kasi alam ko, matagal mo matagal mong gustong gawin, maging free, independent adult. So, I mean...
We actually made an episode on that, on her living alone.
coming
And
out
she's
this
so
Saturday.
excited.
Sige.
Have you
Oy,
moved?
nag-one-on-one. No, not yet. Hopefully end of the month, nagpa-renovate pa kasi ako. Nag-one-on-one pa kami ni Ayn how to adult.
Yeah, we had this conversation. How will I tell my mom na I'm gonna adult na? Kinaya mo naman, Yani. I'm so
Kinaya
proud of
naman.
you.
Oo,
Thank you so
laban.
much.
Congratulations.
We made it to this point.
Ikaw, Sarah, what's your best financial decision?
There's a lot. There really were a lot of pivotal financial decisions that I made that I feel like were increments to who I am right now. First of all, so I'm an immigrant right now. I'm an OFW. It sounds so weird, but I work here in the States right now. And I really do feel like, well, honestly, I'm on my way to the citizenship. But you know how you feel like, shucks, this is it. I've migrated now because I have a bank account. I have a TIN number. Like, I have a life here. The inquiries that I'm getting are US based now. I'm charging in dollars. It sounds so weird, but I feel like the biggest the best financial decision that I've ever made, money moves wise, is just finding a manager. So shout out to Yish, who's actually all of our managers. Like ever since I got a manager, I kind of had someone who would vouch for me, speak for me, and would create my rates for me. Because I'm just gonna say it right now that how majority of Philippine businesses run their business is very bad. It's very, I'm gonna say a bad word. Even like that's very shitty. Like you can't get your TF in a while. Like pag ikaw pa yung manghihingi, it's kind of like kasalanan mo pa if ikaw yung manghihingi.
Sorry.
Can you like
Sorry, maniningil po.
like I'm gonna slap you. I swear to God. Like I'm about to slap this woman. But anyway, like that having a business manager, like even though she gets a certain percentage, I would say it's well worth it because she puts in the legwork. She's like basically the one who increased my rate. So that was a good money move on my end. And of course, get a good manager because I know some people, I'm not going to name drop them anymore. They experience bad managers who didn't even get them anything, which is obviously that's a bad manager. Like that can be an episode like on how you can be an influencer or a freelancer in the Philippines because ang dami kong experience with that. But yeah, also migrating here in the States is one of the best moves that I've made. Like, I'd say I spent a lot of money to move here, but also I made all of that back already by settling my life here. And not just in terms of money, but in terms of standard of living as well. So yeah, migrating was one of the best decisions I've ever made for myself. And I'd say that since you guys bought properties, for me naman I'd say my biggest achievement is now I'm the one who gives money to my parents. So I don't really believe in I didn't buy real estate in the Philippines because obviously I'm not living in the Philippines. I never really planned to live in the Philippines. I have buy and sell properties there though. But yeah, like I mean, for me, looking back from the girl or from the daughter that couldn't have a debut, and like all of my friends were having a debut, or like you couldn't have lunch during high school. Yung kinakain ko lang is turon because that was the cheapest one.
Oh my gosh, Sarah, I remember. I remember the story. You showed me your lunch. There was one time you were having lunch together and you were like, "I have an orange for lunch." And I was like, "Orange?" Like this parang I thought you were on a diet. I thought you were on a diet. I didn't
No,
know
I
na
was
parang
poor.
oh my god, like I had no idea kasi hindi mo siya like you didn't go around telling people about it, you know?
I mean, I'm not a. It's not a pity party. Like
Oo.
I don't put the attention on me when it comes to things like that, and I'm really much more of a hustler. I'm a hard worker. So yeah, like from that, now it's like, no, I'm the one giving my parents money. I'm the one asking them,
Yeah.
Daddy, what do you want to buy? And I'll buy it for you. So, and he's like, no, wala anak. So since he doesn't want anything, I just bank transfer him money. Bahala na siya what he wants to do with that.
Oh.
That's so nice.
I'm so proud of you.
Grab.
Yun yung isa sa mga masarap na feeling talaga eh. Yung parang, anong gusto mo? Anong gusto mo? Okay, travel.
Spoiling
Okay,
your
G.
parents.
Oo. Parang giving back
Spoil your
talaga.
parents, correct.
Giving back.
Exactly.
Napa-flashback ako tuloy to high school. I was like, oh my gosh, all of those times, Sarah. Kala ko you were on a diet. I was like, bakit niya kailangan mag-diet? She's so okay naman. Oh my gosh.
But it's like at that point I didn't even really see it as like something to pity about, and or
Yeah.
like something to share. More like wala, ito lang ang afford ko. So okay, ito lang ang afford ko. Ito
Yeah.
nakakainin ko. Will you get me? And then people would notice.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
this is my lunch. And yeah, like guys, Ayin and I go way back.
Pero I think that mindset nga is also like one of the things that helped you because you never really saw yourself as somebody kawawa. Na even though you had that
Yeah.
experience,
That's
especially
your advocacy. That's your
That's-
whole entire advocacy. I love it. Oh yeah.
yeah, parang hindi ka kawawa na even though you had these experiences, like you take pride in being a hard worker, you take pride in what you've achieved so far, but at the same time, you know, ikaw pa rin, like you're the same person, you're the different person, pero you place more value dun sa tinrabaho mo versus sa I was like this. Yung alam mo yun, like, and that's just the vibe I get. And I think it's great na you can like it's a testament to people who are struggling na you can get
Yeah.
out of that situation.
Yeah. I mean, granted, I'd like to acknowledge as well, or a quick disclaimer that I do have a certain privilege that was given to me, maybe because of the way I look, maybe because of whatever. But yeah, like I understand how difficult it is in the Philippines. Ang hirap ng buhay sa Pilipinas. Like even like when it comes to earning money, half of that would have to be like, I'd still understand why some influencers would be too shy or too, I don't want to use the term afraid, basta nangihinayan sila to speak up because of course these are still the hands that feed them. They don't want to bite the hands that feed them. But if you, at the end of the day, when all is said and done, there are really a lot of companies in the Philippines or businesses in the Philippines that really have to step up with their practices and would have to pay their employees properly. Like I have a friend, who's part of my community in the gaming community, na sinabihan siya, okay lang ba if yung sweldo mo every quarter
Huh?
Oh my gosh.
What?
that, please. Yes, may mga ganon. So,
That's horrible.
yeah, like actually that's what I want to do Kasana with Yani as one of like a series we have in Quarter Life Bliss. Like
Oh my
as an
gosh.
influencer, what you have to say no to, because there are just certain things talaga that I've learned that I feel like no other artist influencer has to go through right now. So yun. I mean, I hear stories nga from other influencers who don't want to get a manager because they've experienced getting scammed by a manager. And it's like,
Yes.
for me, no, but my manager is really good. Yusha's really good.
She's amazing.
You have
Yeah,
to
we love
trust
Madam
her.
Ish.
Yeah, so she's
It's so funny because Sarah called me about Yish and Sarah was like raving about Yish. And incidentally, siya yung last episode namin. But anyway, sabi ni Sarah, she's really good, blah, blah, blah. And of course, I've also had like bad experiences with other,
Buti nga you took the
agents.
chance. I'm so
Yun,
happy.
parang, it just, I don't know, I
Okay.
just felt like, sige na nga, like, let's have the meeting. And then I had a good feeling about it. Tapos yun, immediately we started working together. After pa yun ng birthday ni Ish, diba? Mag-1 year na. And then, the same enthusiasm that Sarah had talking about Yish, I also had like talking to Yani and Rizza. Sabi ko,
Actually,
guys,
very,
you have to,
very.
ano,
Guys,
my
you call
manager.
Yish.
Oo nga. Tapos parang sabi ko, oh my gosh, please. O sige.
Kasi talagang
Ibigay ang trabaho
pinaglalaban
kay
niya.
Yish.
Oo.
Like I would really I mean, I feel like I'm at that point in my life when I vouch for something, I really vouch for something. When I use a product, I
Same.
really use that product. So actually, it's funny because I talked to Marge Maroket then about Yish, but she never replied. And I'm like,
Marge, we're calling you out.
At
Sali ka na
Marge.
dito.
kasi hindi niya ako nireplyan. So ayoko naman siyang i-message ulit kasi ayoko naman siyang kulitin. So like, siya nang lumapit sa akin kung gusto niya, diba? Pero yun nga, parang I'm like, sayang, iniisip ko lang talaga every time I see Marge on my TikTok. It's like, shucks, sana she's getting paid for this. Like, that's
Oh
really
my
what I
gosh,
think
yeah.
about at the end of the day. Like, I wish these influencers are getting paid for this because I know the market or I know how much you're supposed to get paid for something. And it yun, like it gets to a point
Yeah.
na, oh my goodness, I hope no one ever gets scammed. Like, I mean, luckily, thank God, like I've never been scammed so badly when it comes to doing social media marketing work. But, I would never wish that on anyone else.
Yeah.
Totoo.
But sometimes the micro-influencers pa, ako when I was starting out, dun pa mas mahirap pa kumuha. Alam mo yun, mas maliit na nga yung rate, mas mahirap pa
Yeah.
maningil. And
Yeah.
sometimes it would take more than a year to get paid. Tapos parang ako, what?
Tsaka ayun, di ba, sobrang nilolowball
Grabe.
ka, sabi mo sa akin.
Oo.
Parang
Lowball,
pinakatitipid.
lowball.
I still
Yeah.
have
Ako
like
na-
200,000 pesos na hindi ko nakukuha, na hindi
Oh,
ko
God.
nakukolect.
Oh my
Like
gosh.
around that much. So
Grabe.
it's like, ayoko na magsalita. Ayoko na.
Ayaw na lang mag-talk.
Kaya
Ako
nga
naman
si
ang
Ish
problem ko,
problema dun.
ang problem ko naman, ako naman yung naglo-lowball sa sarili ko. Parang, okay, is it okay to charge this much? Tapos parang nung
No,
diniscuss,
never
Yeah.
say
Tas
is
nung-
it okay. Just say
nung
what your
di-
rate is.
I tell myself, I ask myself, is it okay? Okay lang ba to? Tapos parang nung diniscuss ko na kay Yish, parang sabi niya, what? That's so low. Bakit
Ako
yan?
din, yan din sa amin ni Ish. Oh my gosh, ba't ganyan?
I mean, sometimes I feel like if I still lived in the Philippines, I'd rather be a manager na lang because of just how much I really believe that these influencers need to get paid. Like, I'm so,
Totoo.
what the heck? Like, wala lang. Anyway, like, honestly, if ever uuwi ako ng Pilipinas, I'd just be Yish's partner in managing you guys because
Oo.
naiinis ako sa, like, ako yung nanggigigil minsan sa, sa mga businesses.
Based on experience kasi, di ba?
Yeah, it's
Oo,
based on
totoo.
experience. But long story short, I just don't want people or like influencers to go through that because it's, I mean, diba?
Yeah, madaming natitake advantage lalo na it's
Yes.
an unregulated industry.
Yes,
talaga. Like we don't have
yes.
standards.
Yep.
So parang people just
Agree.
tinatansya nila based on how much you know. So yun. Ako rin, I would say Sarah, same best financial decision. Getting a manager. So I have to thank you for that.
Totoo. Ako siguro best financial decision is to keep on investing on my own businesses. Yung parang pinaparolyo ko talaga yung
Yeah.
capital ko. So I rarely parang hindi ako nagpipinch ng money for my personal stuff. Parang yun, pinaparolyo ko talaga ng pinaparolyo kasi the more you invest in your business or in your career or your skill or whatever you're currently doing right now, yun talaga, it will infinitely grow if you keep on investing on it.
Kailangan na ni Sarah umalis. So, one last wrap up. Nakita ko yung oras. Sorry, guys. But anyway,
G.
okay. So, to wrap things up, can we get one finance tip from both of you? Kung merong isang tip na makukuha ang audience natin for today from both of you, ano yung ibibigay nyo?
Ako, yung favorite kong investment tip or finance tip is invest in yourself. Yun talaga yung best decision because you can create a lot of possibilities and yung money na gusto mo if you start investing and learning learning things, learning skills, you'll earn everything that you want eh. So ako, invest in yourself first. Huwag mong kalimutan yun because some people think that, oh no, I should just work for the money, work for the money, work for the money, and earn this so I can buy this. But for me, if you start investing in yourself, then everything else will follow. Kasi you'll understand how business works. Depende ko ano yung gusto mong matutunan eh. But invest in yourself and yeah, para mas malaki pa yung capital mo to invest in other things in investments and also in a business, ganyan. So, yeah, that's the main financial tip na lagi kong sinasabi sa mga tao. Invest in yourself kasi hindi ko naman pwede ibigay sa'yo yung money eh. You have to earn it on your own and the only way you would earn it is if you know things. 'Di ba? So, yeah. That's for me.
I love
I'm
that.
trying to think of a finance advice that could that everyone can take to heart, like whatever your financial situation is. And the only advice that I could think of is you really have to work on your mindset when it comes to money. Of course, it doesn't have to be anything na you have to go to a paid class for it. But alamin mo muna yung mindset mo when it comes to money. Because like I mentioned, that got to a point na kumikita ako ng malaking pera but I wasn't happy sa Pilipinas. It got to a point na nag-guilty ako or ang sama-sama ng pakiramdam ko, bumili lang ako ng 500 pesos na t-shirt kahit kailangan ko dahil I had such an unhealthy relationship with money. So it kind of goes hand in hand with Coach Yanni's advice na invest in yourself. Like, no rin, like for like what we mentioned actually in our last guest thing, you have to know what your long-term goal is and you have to work towards that. And as cheesy as it may sound, like having money is not the end all be all talaga. I mean, of course, you have to meet your necessities, which is yung bahay, yung pagkain, yung mga damit, yung edukasyon. Pero you really have to not let it consume you, yung pera. Like you have to find a way that you are the master of money and not money is the master of you. So yun, it's really mindset. Like focus on your mindset, fix your mindset, and then yeah, like our tagline, find your bliss and money will follow.
Love that.
Love that.
The perfect segue. The perfect segue. So speaking of your podcast, your tagline, ayan. Can you guys invite our listeners to where can they find you?
Yeah, you guys can follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and Anchor at Quarter Life Bliss Podcast. Sarah and I are doing a finance podcast. So we're normalizing talks about money and investments and everything about money talaga. So you guys can follow also our Instagram and TikTok and YouTube. Nakakalimutan ka. Ang dami na kasi, guys.
lahat ng social media.
Ganito pala ang trabaho, no? Mag-promote. Natuto na po ako after 3 seasons. Natuto na po ako mag-promote ng podcast. So, at Quarter Life Bliss Podcast, you guys can follow us and, yeah, learn finance about us. I'm the financial coach in the podcast and si Sarah naman yung binabasag niya lahat ng mga sinasabi ko.
Citizen of
An accounting major citizen na walang ginawa kundi basagin lahat ng mga concepts na alam ko. Parang
Hindi
kumbaga
naman.
yung mga
Like, some of
hindi
those
naman
I
kumbaga
agree with
kung
you.
ano yung I mean kung ano yung questions ng usual na tao na hindi magaling, hindi marunong sa finance. Sarah is putting is that energy in the podcast. Tapos ako naman yung nagbibigay ng mga tools and concepts for others to understand better money. So, yun. Ikaw, Sarah, how will you promote our podcast?
Actually, our podcast is a finance pod. Alam mo, gagawin ko ito ng Tagalog para hindi ma-intimidate ang mga tao. Pero, guys, promise makinig kayo sa Quarter Life Bliss podcast. So, pinag-uusapan namin yung pera doon. But, it's not as intimidating. Alam mo yun, like, hindi ka nakakatakot na, ano ba yan, like, returns and percentage, blah, 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 blah. Kahit ako, like, kahit ako, like, I don't know how I graduated from accountancy, Coach Yani. I really don't. I'm like, shit. Magagalit sa mga professors ko. Pero, yeah, like, more than that, it's just really the culture. Pinag-uusapan namin yung culture sa pera, yung kung bakit ba tayo nahihiya. I mean, we even had a fun episode like in a date, who pays for in a date? Is it the guy? Is it the girl? Like if it's an LGBTQA, like you just have to talk about it. Alam mo yan, like it's really a fun podcast where we talk about finance and the culture around it. And just a quick disclaimer, it's mostly the Philippine culture, so it's Philippine based. So baka mag-Tagalog kami doon, like
Taglish.
yeah, Taglish. Well, if you're an OFW who don't know how to speak Tagalog, I mean, don't worry, we'll do our best to translate as the conversation goes on. But yeah, it's fun. Like I
And may
honestly think
community
it's fun.
kami. May community kami, the Bliss Besties. So you guys can just check on Quarter Life Bliss, your finance besties on Facebook. May group kami where eventually kasi manghihingi kami ng question nila tapos sasagutin namin in an episode. So yeah, be part of the community. It's also on our Instagram. Nandun din yung community details.
Love it. How about your personal socials? Where can they follow you?
You can follow me at Coach Yani Moya on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. Yeah, I create personal finance and investment content.
Sarah.
You know what? Thank you for reminding me. I have to fix my website because I have two URLs. I have sarahcarlos.com, sarahstreams.com. But for my Instagram, it's at carlos.sarah. So is my TikTok at carlos.sarah. And I think that's it. Twitter is Hybro Gummy Bear. If you guys want to play video games with me, it's Haribo Gummy Bear, Hybro Gummy Bear on Xbox and PlayStation Network. Bahala na kayo. And on Twitch as well, it's at Sarah Carlos, where I stream playing video games. So that's it.
Love it. Thank you guys so much for joining us today and for sharing your finance stories. I'm sure the madams enjoyed that conversation. At hopefully next time, we can, next season, kasi sabi ni Ish, this season sila lang daw muna. So next time, kami naman,
Exclusive kami, sorry.
It has to be a different topic from today. Kasi dapat, they have incentive to
iba-iba.
visit our podcast.
Anyway, sige, thank you guys so much. Bye!
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Thanks so much for having us.